Mitt Romney marched with Black Lives Matter protesters this weekend. Colin Powell came out publicly against President Trump. Rick Newman, you've been watching this phenomenon, and there have been calls for members of the GOP to come out against the president publicly for a while now. It seems to be gaining perhaps a little momentum. How significant is this?
Yeah, there does seem to be a shift in what people are thinking and where voters seem to be heading. So we are seeing President Trump's approval rating is dipping below the level it has been pretty steady at. So I'm in the composite of polls, I'm seeing it dip to about 41%. And CNN actually had a poll showing it going all the way down to 37% approval rating. As we know, he's been generally unpopular, but his approval rating has been extremely steady. And it might be breaking down through that range it's been holding at. And this, of course, comes after week of protests. Trump told the governors they need to dominate in their streets. He drew widespread rebukes for using military forces against protesters in Washington, D.C. Several prominent admirals and generals now have become vocal critics of President Trump. So he seems to be kind of breaking on the wrong side of history with regard to this issue that is obviously a very large movement across the country and likely to remain that way.
But Rick, he remains very popular, not only with his base, but with Republicans in general. And we're 5 months out from the election. So the polls today, approval, disapproval, do they matter?
Yeah, I think they do matter. So a lot of people say polls are useless because they all got it wrong in 2016. So 2 points about that. First of all, pollsters have they think they have corrected their methodologies to account for the mistakes that happened in 2016. And by the way, the polls on the popular vote in 2016 were correct. They were generally accurate. So I think we should be paying attention to these polls. I think that they're telling us something. And even though he does remain popular in the Republican Party, Adam, Trump's margin of victory was so small in 2016 that if he loses just, let's say, 5 percentage points of support among Republicans, which he is doing in some polls, that could mean the difference between victory and defeat. He's also losing independents at this point, and they are the swing voters who are going to decide who the next president is.
Hey, Rick, we're still in June, though. I mean, we still have several months to go until November. What's to say that, people will still hold on to these thoughts of Trump now and not switch over and start to think of him as, more presidential down the line?
Anything could happen. We could see a huge economic rebound that surprises us all and helps Trump out. But I think there's sort of a sense of the dam breaking when you're having people like Colin Powell who have not been vocally critical of Trump. And Senator Lisa Murkowski has now said she's not sure if she can vote for Trump. And some others, you have the Never Trump Republicans, this group of Republicans like the Lincoln Project. These are sort of establishment Republicans. It feels like the dam is breaking a little bit here. So it is now becoming okay to criticize Trump among Republicans. And just keep in mind, his margin of victory was so narrow in 2016. I mean, he has no room to burn here. And every little, fraction of a percentage point that goes to Joe Biden rather than President Trump, that is a potential vote that gives the presidential election to Biden.
Thanks, Rick. And we should mention, by the way, speaking of Joe Biden, he is heading today to Houston to meet with the family of George Floyd. So obviously, he has shown his support for the Black Lives Matter protesters.
Hey, investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.